Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I am your host, Dylan Cooper, the constant host over here.
Gavin Franklin.
Guys, we are here this week to review Shattered Legions.
I'm shattered.
My soul is shattered. I can't say my heart was shattered because I knew this was going to be dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
So my heart was never in it.
My heart was never even a part of it.
No, but hey, we'll complain here shortly. First things first, let's get through our normal things. As always, hit us up on the Discord. As you saw or heard from our last episode, if you're on the Discord, you might get a chance to come on. Also, Christmas is coming up, and we would like to do a Christmas giveaway. So get on the Discord. If you're in the Discord, you're in the drawing for it.
I'm so bad at like the management of everything. Like, I love how you're just like, we never even talked about it. You're like, yeah, we're gonna.
We did like 2 months ago.
Christmas giveaway, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Probably should have brought that up. Like, first time I'm also hearing about it. How do I
we
join?
Definitely told about this like 2 months ago. After our last giveaway, we're like, we should do one for Christmas too.
How do I join the Christmas giveaway?
Joining the Discord. You can find that pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. You can email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com and I will send you a link. I can put it on the YouTube. Are there other things? Those are all the things. Also, we have merch.
Comment on YouTube.
Check it out. I am currently drinking out of my Heresy Lodge pint glass.
Me too.
Really? Hold on. There we go. It's kind of
We
I have a
both
dark
had it
beer,
all.
so you can't see it.
Yeah. What are you drinking out of your Heresy Lodge pint glass, sir?
Well, my good friend.
To shamelessly plug.
I am drinking from Founders Brewing, the French Toast Bastard. It is
I don't think I've had that.
It's a vanilla cinnamon maple bourbon barrel aged Scotch ale.
That sounds great.
It smells really, really good. I'm about to take my first sip, and we will see.
Let us know. The world is watching.
I'm really getting the French toast taste on the mouth. That's pretty good.
The swirling around the tongue. You're like a connoisseur. So I did this thing this year. One of my coworkers gave me the idea where we do the 25 days of Christmas or 25 beers of Christmas. Have I told you about this?
No, you have not.
Yeah. So my coworker gave me the idea. So I went out and got 25 different craft beers for me, my girlfriend's dad, and her brother. So we're like opening them one day at a time.
Can I find 25 ciders for Katie?
I don't think Katie would even be okay with 25 ciders. I think it's a lot. Well, the day I gave them the beer, I got sick. So I'm currently 8 days behind.
You gotta fucking step up your game.
So yesterday I drank day 8 and day 1. So today I'm going to be drinking day 9 and day 2. So the day 9 beer I have is Golden Monkey Belgian style triple ale from Victory Brewing. Victory Brewing, PA? Yeah. Downingtown, PA. It's pretty good.
Nice.
It's like a little German triple. I think it's pretty good.
Nice.
And then
love our beers around here. Also, if you guys ever have beer suggestions, let us know.
Oh yeah, we've never done that. Somebody should, if you have a beer that you really like and you want us to try, it's to give our honest, brutal opinion. Like, absolutely.
Oh, we'll give it.
Yeah. The second beer I'll be drinking, hopefully on the podcast, is Dortmunder Gold Lager from Great Lakes Brewing.
Say that one more time.
Dortmunder,
Dortmunder.
Dortmunder. That's Dortmunder, right? Sounds
sure, but I don't know. I don't know fucking non-English words.
Great Lakes Brewing. It's from Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, so it's one of the Ohio lakes. All right. Shattered Legions, sir. Right away.
Shattered Legions.
Let me just say this book is my second least favorite book of all time in the Horse Heresy.
Ooh. Yeah.
I don't I don't think it committed like the sin and atrocities that the Outcast Dead did.
The thing is, like, there's like several bad anthologies, right? And it's almost
Mhm.
like a whole separate tier, semi like from the books.
I get that. I
Because
think though that there are novels though where like I'm like, this is just so bad. Like, I would rather read an anthology than The Outcast Dead or even
yeah,
Nemesis. Like, I'd rather read an anthology than Nemesis.
some of them, yes, for sure.
Some of them,
Like if
yeah.
I had to read Mark of Calth again too, like that,
Oh my
like if
god.
Mark of Calth followed this, I would quit. Fuck this
Like,
podcast. I don't
I'm
even care
so
after
glad
that.
that we read Garo before the Vengeful Spirit because that would have been back to back with this, and I think it would have been done.
Yeah, I mean, I know you didn't like Garo. I liked it, but still, like anthologies, they drag. There's a reason why we
Yeah,
were doing 3-parters, not only because it was just
catch
more
up.
convenient and for us to catch up, but man, some of them are slogs.
Yeah, I mean, like my favorite anthology so far was probably Korax, just
That
because
one was really good.
it didn't seem like an anthology, you
Yeah.
know. And this one I think tried to do what Korax did, where like they had a main character the whole time, but he's not Corvus Korax, and it also didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it was really weird because he kept popping up, but he also wasn't the main character every time either.
And turns out he wasn't even in some of the stories that he was in.
Yeah, it was weird.
You get the biggest problem I have with this book, and we can kind of talk about these situations when they come up in the review, but this book is a story about like a Shattered Legions hero and a group of Shattered Legions people. But the problem is like it doesn't close the chapter. Like Korax closed the chapter on the Raven Guard. This leaves questions open and it makes it seem like there's another book about it. And it makes me
God,
miserable.
that would
Yeah.
be so bad if
But you
there's
do get
another
that, right?
one.
Like
Yeah,
there's
because I mean, the whole
multiple
thing of
things that
Medusa,
happen. Yeah. With Medusan, with Tybalt
but
Mar, there's the whole thing with like his
yeah,
like second in command. You're like, where's that going? Magnus gets mentioned. You're like, what does that have to do
yeah,
with
what
anything?
Sharokin, and then you have fucking the zombie Iron Fist running around too.
Which was so dumb. And like,
It was really bad. I don't understand why that keeps coming
yeah,
up.
there's just like too many open-ended questions at the end of this book. And like a part of me wants them to be answered, and a part of me does not. Like, what a shitty time for this book to take place. For book 43 of the Horus Heresy. And like
Yeah,
what
I think like the time for this would have been after like I don't know, Fulgrim, when we somewhat gave a shit about the Iron Hands.
yeah, like it kind of seems like you're throwing like a Hail Mary pass here and just it's not being received well.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I'm sure these all came out in like separate times, so like oh here we'll just slot it in here. But man,
yeah,
I want to know at this point of time if you've like followed us along, did you actually give a shit about the Shattered Legions? Because the answer is no. And if it's
dude.
yes, you're fucking lying to yourself, to everyone else.
They're so terrible because the problem, the biggest issue I have with the Shattered Legions is they take on like a extreme caricature. Every Iron Hand acts the same way. Every Raven Guard acts the same way. Every Salamander acts the same way to the point where
Medusan
this,
actually doesn't. That's the only reason why Medusan's like, okay.
yeah, like he's not a bad character,
No.
but he doesn't do anything. And like
Well, yeah, that's the Iron Hands.
it's so boring because like every story is the same. We talked about this before. Like we were messaging each other and talking to each other. Like this book fucking sucks.
Well, hell, even
like,
the
I'm reading
preview, I
same
was like,
story.
look, I can summarize this entire book. And it is you have the Iron Hands say, we must go fight something. You have the Raven Guard saying, hey, we should be suspicious of this thing. And then the Iron Hands like, you don't deserve to speak. Fuck you. Eat shit. And the fucking Salamander's like, well, this is weird, guys. Hopefully everything's okay.
Yeah. He doesn't do that. The salamanders don't do anything here. And I think that's a good thing because another book I'm really concerned about is it Old Earth or
I think Old Earth is like one of like the later books. The
There's
next
an
one
anthology.
is Born of Flame, maybe?
Yeah, so Old Earth is an anthology exclusively about salamanders, written entirely by Nick Kime. So there's like 6 novellas.
How many times will we hear Vulcan lives?
We got it in this book.
We did. How man, we should have counted how many times we
It
got
was only
fucking
like 3.
no for Flush's Week
Flush's
actually
Week.
didn't get said that much, except for that one story.
Yeah. Let's start going over these. Let's review.
Yeah.
Medusan is the first one by Dan Abnett. So this short story is really just an introduction to Shadrach Medusan. And you stated earlier that Medusan is not like a regular Iron Hand. Why is that?
He uses his brain, which holy shit, crazy. He like the whole at the beginning of this book or story or whatever that talks about how they're obviously fucking shattered and the like war councils. I guess that's how they used to do it on Medusa.
So like clans,
yeah, like all the clans have like a leader and then
like a
like
clan father.
yeah, and then they all come together for like a fucking like a round table, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Mhm.
And that's how they used to do it on Medusa before what's his face?
Ferris.
Yeah, Ferris Manus showed up. And he's sitting there, he's like, this is fucking stupid. We need one leader to lead us because you guys are gonna spend too much fucking time talking and not getting anything done. And yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah,
And all those guys are also dickholes.
they all die too in this story. They
They
all
kind of deserved it.
get sent to a trap and they die. So it's like it's a really weird feeling that you get because basically it's like you have this council of elders and they're like, this is what we should do. Medusa says, no, it's not. They do it anyway. They die because it was a trap. But it does introduce like this weird power struggle in the Iron Hands that's there because of the void of Ferris Manus. And I think like one of the more interesting stories to me was the second to last one, which we'll talk about later, where it continues to talk about a bit of the power struggle.
Yeah.
Because they're the like clan leaders, clan fathers, or whatever they are. They want to like lead the Iron Hands in like a council, but people who are smart think that that's just going to be a bunch of old people bickering. Like it would be like the Iron
like
Hands
our
being led
government.
by our government.
Yep.
Exactly. It would be so terrible. So Shadrach's just taking it, doing it himself. Unfortunately, like Shadrach Medusan seems like a really interesting character. We don't get that much more of him in this book.
Yeah, and then like it's really weird too because he gets appointed as like the leader from his clan father because he like originally puts him as the second in command. He gets hurt and he's like, you're the one that should be leading us. You're the one that makes sense. And then we get to like the second to last story, and it's just like, what is happening now?
Yeah,
It
gets
might
a
not
little
be that
strange.
story. It's one of those stories.
You're right. No, that's right. Yeah. What's the clan leader's? Is it
Something Og, I think.
Og? Yeah, Og or Og or
Yeah.
Jabez Og.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, so we move into our next story, which is Unforged.
Yes.
What is Unforged?
Unforged. Let's see. Unforged. Sorry guys. Let's see. They're on S-Fan, maybe?
Is this the Iron or the Salamanders one? It is.
Yeah, Welcome to Purgatory. Yep. Yeah, so this is a story.
This is the funniest story in this entire book. You know, we talk about one of the running jokes in this podcast is how easily salamanders die. They die all the time. Like
Yep.
with the one legion that is the best at dying is by far salamanders.
Yeah. We have
This is
the one
a
that's best at
story.
dying and the one that's best at killing themselves.
This story here is about salamanders accidentally killing salamanders on this fan.
Yeah, so what happens is they're on S-Fan and they pick up a like distress signal. And of course you have some I think it was a Raven Guard. who was like, "Hey, we should be cautious of this."
Mhm.
And they're like, "Fuck it, let's go anyway." So they're going down like a cliff. One of them falls off the cliff and dies. And then they're like, "Well, shit, that sucks." And they start walking, and they get to this like cliff wall, and it's like, "Welcome to purgatory."
This ridiculous sign. Like the salamanders had like spray paint on them.
Yeah. What did they put that with?
I don't know. They had tons of spray paint, and it turned out to be they started getting shot at, and it turned out to be salamander snipers shooting at the salamanders. They killed a couple of them, and
yeah, like one of the salamanders is like running up there like to fight, and then he's like, "Oh shit, I'm being killed by my own people," and like the main salamander is like, "Oh god, what have they done?
This is so awkward."
Guys, are they all dead? Because I really hope so, because we fucked up.
You would think that in a universe slated 30,000 years in the future, mainly delve deeply into the concept of warfare on a planet that has both allies and enemies scattered, they would probably think about that a little more before they just started shooting at random people that showed up to a distress signal.
I mean, like of this, like all the legions, I feel like the salamanders should kind of stick out.
Yeah, they're green, like bright green.
Yeah,
they like have the most ridiculous color pattern. You know, all the legions have ridiculous color patterns for the most part, and the salamanders is one of the most ridiculous. So I agree that, like, even if they were bare skinned, like they're the only legion that is like completely like charcoal colored.
yeah. Like Andy the sniper should have been like, "Yo, that's a salamander."
He actually has red eyes.
He can see in the dark. His eyes are super red.
They can actually see in the dark. That's how easily they should have been able to identify each other. Out of all the legions, it's so ridiculous. So that's whatever. That's the story. We get a sequel to this because everyone was wanting it. Because these were all written.
The best sequel's next.
Well, these were all written in like different times. So somebody wrote this story, and then they were like, "We need a sequel to this story."
Oh, you know what? It was Guy Haley, because he writes Unspoken as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He gets a lot of hate.
Yes.
But he did. I think didn't he do? No, that's Gavin Thor.
He's done things that are good.
Yeah. I just can't think of any.
I mean, like we kind of talked about, all these guys are like good, right?
Yeah.
Like they're good. He did Pharos.
Pharos is good. I like Pharos a lot.
Yeah.
Guy Haley, you don't deserve the disrespect you get, my man.
Pharos was like the only book that he's written, like a book that he's written, and it was good. Shorts. He does do a lot of shorts. I wonder why that is, because like the one book he wrote was good.
Yeah, I think he does a lot of 40K stuff. Maybe
that makes sense. Yeah,
and
he does write.
Full of a-holes.
Yeah, he does write Wolfsbane, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that one.
So next we have the sequel we really wanted.
Everyone was just waiting for this fucking sequel.
We did that review. I don't even know what the short was called, but man, we had Iron Hand Zombies, and everyone was like, "Holy shit, we need to hear more." And we're like, "Man,
what's
we're here
going
to deliver."
Because we ended that short story, if you guys recall, the Imperial Fist that went with them. He got sent back on some ship, and he had to tell Dorn, like, "Oh, so,
I have the secret code.
There's a code that I have to give you." And the Iron Hands, they're not really Iron Hands. They're like zombies. If you send a signal in space that says "awaken," they'll come.
They'll wake up.
And Dorn's like, "Never fucking say that word again."
If that gets near any of our fucking communication signals, you're dead.
I'm gonna shoot you. I want them to stay as zombies, like as far away as possible, because that seems like the most obnoxious shit that could possibly be around. And this short story makes it way worse.
I just don't understand what is even happening here. So
The end of this short story is like bonkers to me. I'm so confused by it.
the whole thing is just it's nonsense. So let's get into it, right? So we have the main Iron Hand from that short story, whose name escapes me.
I don't care.
Yep, he gets awoken because an Iron Hand ship has like boarded them, and we
No.
find out.
Death Guard.
Did they fight the Death Guard first?
They fought Death Guard first. So like they're like out. So basically what's happening is there's like an Iron Hand dude that's alive, and he's got this ship full of like zombies, and he's going around from place to place awakening the zombies and fighting whatever. So this time they're fighting Death Guard.
And then Iron Hands show up.
Then the Iron Hands show up.
And then we find out it's like he was the clan father of that group. And they're like,
Yeah, so the
"Oh,
main
Dad."
character, the main character who's a zombie now, used to be the clan father of this group that shows up. And what happens next is the most ridiculous fucking concept I've ever seen. So the zombies seem very content with the idea that they're going to have to kill Iron Hands in order to continue to do what they do.
Yeah, and then they just make them zombies.
Yeah, so this may be confusing for anyone who's not watching, but basically, or anyone who hasn't like followed along with this story, what they're doing when they're like zombies, it was considered illegal from Fair Spanish. Fair Spanish was like,
Whoa,
that's
guys, there's
weird.
like one line that's a little too far.
One
Like,
line.
I don't give a shit if you make yourself robots, like whatever, but don't make yourself zombies.
You've got like Atticus from the Nation of Pythos, like full robot. He's like, that's okay. That's funny as shit, actually.
Fucking idiot.
What a moron. Zombies, though, I don't fuck around with that. So when the other Iron Hands show up, the zombies are like, oh, they're not going to like this. They're going to try and attack us, where you should probably like kill them, which is bonkers to me. You would think that they would be like, all right, we broke the law. Like, this is our honor, yada, yada, you know?
Yeah.
But no, the Iron Hands are weird as shit. So the Iron Hands that showed up try to kill the zombies because they're like, that's illegal.
Something ain't right here.
Yeah. Then one of the dudes that showed up kills the person in charge, like not like the zombie dude, like he kills the dude in charge of his like squad that's attacking the zombies. And then he's like, weirdest fucking thing, Nick Kime. What are you doing? He's like, I invoke the right to take his place through killing him, which is a thing.
Like the old ways of Medusa, we would kill for captainship. That dude's like, all right, yeah, that's cool. Let's fucking be zombies.
Yeah, and he looks at him and he's like, you can be a zombie. And he's like, oh, well, what do I do with the dude you just killed? Make him a zombie. And then they left. I'm like, Nick Kime, what the fuck is that? What is this? That's the dumbest shit. When we talk about the Shattered Legions are really good at killing themselves, this is exactly what we're referring to.
Yeah.
What a ridiculous idea.
Yeah, I just don't understand what the thought process is here and why we had to have this.
I hate it. I hate their story. I hope they all die. I hope we never, because the thing is, like, it seems like it could go on. The story can go on. Like, I really fucking hope that these dudes don't just appear at the Siege of Terra to do something. And I hope if they do, we just see Rogel Dorn being like, son of a fucking bitch. Who let these guys in? This is absolutely absurd. So yeah.
Hold on.
I'm holding.
We might be talking about the wrong story.
No, that's it. Oh, you're right. We are.
Yeah, I think that's the hell story from Nick or from John French, actually.
God damn it. Sorry, Nick Kime. I take it all back, Nick. Nick, I'm so sorry. Nick, you're fantastic. Vulcan lives. But yeah, John French, the Keys of Hell. So we just covered Keys of Hell.
Yes.
So sorry, Nick.
I'm trying to
John,
figure out what the hell
you
this story
bastard.
is.
This is the one about the Iron Hand over Isfahan that boarded the ship because he was an immortal.
Yes.
I just reviewed it. So there's an Iron Hand. We talked about this in the preview. He's called an immortal. What that means is he pissed off Ferrus Manus at some point. So now he's like required to board ships.
I can't believe we just did that. I like as I was looking at the story names, I was like, wait a minute, because he kept saying like the like this something about hell.
Keys of hell. What are the keys of hell?
Yeah, that was a weird one.
So sorry, Nick. Why
Yeah,
did we ever think about it? This is definitely a John French story. John, you bastard.
Yeah, can't believe that same guy wrote fucking Damnation at Pythos. What the hell?
Hey, John, listen, I think people give you too much shit, John. What else did John write? Did he write Damnation of Pythos?
Yeah, he's
No, that's David Annadel.
No, David Annadel wrote
Damnation of Pythos.
Oh shit, I didn't mean Damnation of Pythos. I meant Praetorian of Dorn.
That was a good one.
Very different books there.
John, you got great books. Stop writing about the Iron Hands, please.
It's really shooting down your quality. And we're a very quality podcast, and we only accept good quality.
Clearly, we are the cream of the crop. Our opinions are going to greatly impact your consciousness. I can imagine John French sitting there drinking one day, listening to us and saying,
yeah, those fuckers.
They're fucking right. That story's dog shit.
Well, damn, I really
zombie Iron Hands. God, what was I thinking?
I wrote a sequel to those.
I wrote 2 stories.
Why did I think one was okay?
So Immortals, that's exactly what it is. Some dude boards a ship, fights some world eaters, and he lives. That is the story.
Yep.
That's the review of Immortals. Now we're heading into
Grey Talon.
I'm gonna need to open up my second beer here.
I've been fucking nursing this. I think the one thing about like dark beers, I'm a nurser on.
That makes sense.
I'm also just like not that big of a fan of them. Like this is good,
you know,
but I can't drink a 6-pack of this.
Dark beer has like a dry wine to me. Like it's like one of those things that I enjoy in the right circumstance. Like if I'm drinking a dark beer, it's because of like the flavor and it's a slow process. Like you said, you can't chug it, right? I drink a dry wine, I'm gonna do it with like a steak. You know what I mean?
I actually really like dry wine.
That's weird. I can't imagine drinking dry wine by itself. But like if I go out to eat and I'm getting like a snazzy steak, I'll get a dry wine. This beer looks very good.
What was this one again?
This one is the Dortmunder.
Oh, right. The word lager. That isn't real.
Yeah, it's okay. Not my favorite. I wouldn't drink it again. Yesterday I had a mimosa beer.
How was it? Sounds good.
Phenomenal. Surprise! It was a sour, mimosa sour.
All right. I can get behind a mimosa sour.
You know what else tastes sour?
Shattered Legends.
Grey Talon. Like, yes, all of them taste sour. But let's talk about Grey Talon specifically. Yeah, so this one's by Chris Wright because it has white scars.
Yep. And if you recall from the preview, it is the ship that Yasugi was originally on.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So we
all I remember from
follow
this.
Hibuo. Basically, all it is like Hibuo joins the ship, and he's part of the group that I can't fucking remember. Cesar Mazin? Says Mazin?
So,
They're-
yeah, Mazin, something like that.
They're-
Yeah, the ones that were on Horus's side on the first, like, oh shit, we're in so much trouble. We're not
Then-
actually on Horus's side, guys.
They saw the Emperor's children, and they were like, no, that's not what we
Oh.
signed up for. Oh.
Is it though? Oh no. Oh yeah. We're not.
Yes, please.
Wait, you guys don't shove your bolt gun up your asshole? How do you know it's ready?
That sounds like a great idea. So basically, what happens with this story is it's just a situation where the Iron Hands aboard the ship, they don't trust them at first because they were traitors, but then they go into a battle, they almost die, they get rescued by Medusan, Shadrach Medusan. And Shadrach Medusan's like, great, join us. Do you really trust these White Scars? And the Iron Hand on board is like, yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, they're fine.
That's it. That's the story. I don't even know, like, who do they fight? Is it Alpha Legion?
Maybe Alpha Legion kept popping up in this book, but
They did quite a few times.
hell, we even got Alfarius in this book.
Weirdly, maybe. I still am not convinced that that was Alfarius.
It might have been? Question mark.
I don't know.
I don't think Graham is meant to write Alpha Legion.
It was a weird one.
Yeah.
So then we have The Keys of Hell by John French. We already reviewed that one.
We sure did. John, you're great. This story's not great.
John. Then we move into Deeds Endure by Gavin.
So this was the one where we found out the whole saying of flesh is weak. This is also the one with the
Salamander.
yeah, and the special Terminator suits that they just kind of throw away.
That was
almost.
the dumbest fucking, that was the most salamander thing in the world. It didn't even like solve the problem. So basically the whole story of this is the Shattered Legions move in to try and take out a World Eaters training camp on a planet, but the Salamanders prevent the bombardment because they're concerned that the bombardment is going to lead to civilian death in the area, even though the civilians already pledged as the World Eaters. That's the whole setup. So they basically, the Salamanders, who technically outranks all the Iron Hands, has a debate with the Iron Hands about whether or not they, what they do. And the Iron Hand, and in this situation, Iron Hand is absolutely right.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, fuck it. All right, you guys have way too much shit to worry about than people who are already committed to the World Eaters.
He's like, dude, we're outnumbered by World Eaters, which isn't terrible since we're in space, but you want to go and fight them on the ground? He's like, that we could outnumber the World Eaters 2-1 and they would still kill us. Like, I really respect the fact that this Iron Hand is like, at least he's not like, we're the Iron Hands, we're the best. No one can beat us because we're phenomenal, you know?
We are all
he's like,
actually
no.
dreadnoughts.
He's like, I'm not fucking around with the World Eaters, man. Like, those guys are insane.
Actual lunatics.
Yes. Yeah.
And the worst part is the Salamanders, like originally the Iron Hands were just gonna blow them out of the fucking planet.
Yeah,
and the Salamander
genius.
ship just gets in front of it. Like, no, they won't shoot us. And the Iron's like, I'm really thinking about it.
Most pathetic Salamanders moment in history, dude. Like, it makes so much sense. Do an orbital bombardment. Are those people going to die? Yes, they are. But how many people are you going to save by killing those World Eaters?
Honestly, and it's the fucking World Eaters. It's not like it's like the pre-fall of the Word Bearers, like where they're just kind of.
If the Word Bearers were down there, I would have fought them. I would have went down and fought.
If it was the word bearers, I'd pretend I'm going and let them kill each other.
We
I
have a
don't
military
understand.
genius here, guys. You could be in charge of a Legion battle fleet at that point. How do we beat them? Watch this. Hey, we're coming down. They're dead. They're already dead.
There'll be a demon for like 35 minutes. He can't actually stay in our world, so it's fine.
Yeah, they'll kill each other just so they can grow claws. It's really weird.
Man, I know we make fun of the fucking Iron Hand, but man, watch this shit.
Oh yeah, like that. The Iron Hand was absolutely right. Use the orbital bombardment, kill the world eaters. The salamanders came off weak here. Not only that, they had special Terminator armor that they wasted because the Iron Hands also intelligently just bombed it anyway while they were on the ground. Salamanders went to the ground to fight the world eaters. We're losing. And then the Iron Hands were like, yeah, that's what we said was going to happen. Like, and then they clicked the button and then bombed the surface.
Yeah, like their Terminator suits are like insane. Like apparently Vulcan sent them out so that they could not be taken. Like, let's go fight the world eaters. Like 5 of us against like 100,000 of them. It'll be awesome.
It was really dumb.
Yeah, I don't. Even like the whole like thought process too, right? Like the whole thing was making sure that that armor didn't get in enemy hands. So let's go fight world eaters, like
and just destroy
5-1.
Terribly done.
Just fucking go to Terra. Why are we stalling? Just go to fucking Terra with your special suits. Like, Dorn, look at this thing.
Yeah. So apparently, though, one thing that I do like about this story that I thought was interesting, because when it comes to the salamanders, you know what my favorite part about the salamanders are?
I know it's not the dying part because you actually like
It's
them.
not.
It used to be that they were nice. They're not. They kind of suck.
They're just dumb. Yeah, my favorite part about the salamanders is Vulcan. It's like the opposite to the Dark Angels. Where like my least favorite part about the Dark Angels is their Primarch. Like Vulcan is a badass.
Yeah.
Salamanders kind of suck. And so like I like the story where Vulcan basically told like Dave Ferris Manus the mantra to the Iron Hands. I had no idea that was a thing. I think that's kind of cool. Where it's like flesh is weak, but deeds endure.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing. And then Ferris Manus was like, oh, that's really good. I'm going to use that.
And then the other Iron Hand's like, yeah, flesh is weak. Let's make fucking robot arms.
It's like, watch, this is going to be the craziest shit.
Vulcan, I'm never actually going to tell them the second half of this.
Watch
what they
dude.
fucking do. These guys are so fucking stupid, Vulcan.
Gonna be great. You think your guys are stupid? My dudes just die for no reason. They kill each other. It's weird. So then we have The Noose by David Annandale. This, guys, are you ready? Is kind of sort of a sequel. Kind of sort of a sequel to Damnation of Pythos.
Is it?
It is.
Refresh my memory on this one.
So this is the one where, pretty sure this is the one.
Yes, I am thoroughly convinced.
There's all these sound so fucking similar. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one where the Iron Hands trick the Emperor's children to going into their like base of operations.
Yeah.
And there's like a nuclear bomb in there and they all die. And it was kind of badass. But what's funny about this is if we remember from Damnation of Pythos, the commander Atticus left all those bombs. Remember he like dropped all those mines and then like 3 ships got blown up. And then more Emperor's Children showed up and were like, I can't believe you fell for that, you pathetic Emperor's Children captain. More Iron Hands show up and they're like, they're searching for Atticus, who we all know is dead because of a weird demon thing that happened on Pythos.
Like, took his bones. Yeah,
some weird thing. But they basically follow the Iron Hands back to their base. It turns out to be a huge trap. The Iron Hands blow up the Emperor's children. I thought this one was actually kind of good, like as far as the writing goes. Like, I think David Anadelli is a good writer. Like, I enjoyed Damnation of Pythos. I thought this was a good, like, little short story that actually showed like some interesting things. Like, it showed the flaws of the Emperor's children. It showed like an interesting battle. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, this one was fine. I mean, I also thought Damnation Pythos was fine.
Yeah.
Some people are just a-holes.
I like when it was a shock to me when they revealed the nuclear bombs, the Cyclone torpedoes. I was like, oh shit. I was like, I didn't see that coming. Like, that's actually militarily strategic. Like, unlike most of the shit we read about in
Yeah.
these books, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was fine.
Then we go into Unspoken, which, guys, in case you didn't know, in case you didn't think that it was possible, we have a sequel to Salamanders Killing Salamanders. What was this one even about?
Dude, I literally do not remember this one at all. Let's see.
So the main story of this was the salamander that survived, the other salamanders killing them.
Yeah.
The Iron Hands go and attack something. The salamanders are there to help. There was a whole thing about him repairing his armor.
Yeah, that sounds more familiar. Shit.
It's a very short one.
It is like no, I'm thinking of the Grams one where there's the apothecary that's making the armor.
They fight Alpha Legion in this one.
I'm pulling up the synopsis again. Control H.
There's really like not a lot that goes on in this. It's a very short story. Basically, the salamander that survives is repairing his armor. He's taken a vow of silence, and he goes and like what the dude. One of the guys that also gets rescued is the dude that shot his fellow salamanders. So he's like all upset as well.
Yeah, all I get is the surviving Astartes of the Salamander Legion examined their broken nature in the wake of their legion's near extinction during the Dropsite Massacre.
Yeah, that's basically all that happens. Like, he has to forgive the salamander that killed other salamanders, which is hilarious. And then he ends up like, all this is they go and fight some Alpha Legion with the Iron Hands. There's nothing like super interesting about it. It's just the sequel no one ever asked for.
Yep.
They figure out like Vulcan may live.
Vulcan lives.
I think they might also end up getting rescued by Shadrach.
Probably. He keeps popping up in this entire book.
Yeah. Then we move on to the real meat and potatoes.
Yes, this is half the book.
The Seventh Serpent by Graham McNeil. Leave it to Graham.
I will say though, it was the best one. I don't know. Dan's was pretty good. I like
Dan's.
Dan was the opener with Medusan.
I thought that was good. I also really liked Hand Elect by Chris Wright. I think Chris Wright had some good stuff in here too. The problem with this one, let's go with the story real quick, because the real issue with this, I think, is the fact that there really wasn't a lot that happened. We get to follow the heroes from
the heroes,
Angel Exterminatus.
Yeah.
They are fighting some Alpha Legion, and they get rescued by Shadrach Medusan, who says that he has a way to kill Alpharius. So they follow him to a planet. It's really well described. I thought this was super awesome. It was a planet made of Promethean,
Yeah,
which was badass.
it was really cool.
I'm reading this and I'm picturing like the battle between Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah, with the
there's just like
volcano world.
fire
Yeah.
everywhere, you know. So they go onto the planet. They try and kill Alfarius. Huge, crazy thing happens where it turns out that Shadrach Medusan is actually Alfarius, and all the Iron Hands are actually Alpha Legion. Who would have thought that was going to happen?
Yeah, and the reason that was happening was because this Alpha Legion was actually a loyalist, and Alfarius was hunting him down.
Yeah.
And
So they
couldn't
used the
find
Iron
him.
Hands. They
Yeah.
used the Iron Hands to find the loyalist section of the Alpha Legion, who Alfarius, disguised as Shadrach Medusan, was saying that was Alfarius.
Yeah, because that group from Angel Exterminatus does that special pillar thing.
Oh, it's like a humanoid. It's like
Is it a humanoid? I
yeah.
imagined a fucking black pillar this entire time.
Yeah, it's like a humanoid. It's a what do they call it?
It was, they had a name for it.
It basically deciphers
Yeah.
messages being sent back and forth, but I think it's a humanoid. Yeah.
Either way,
it like what's so interesting about this is like when when you were saying you don't think Bram should write Alpha Legion. I think that's true. The reason that is because like when they did the big reveal, right? I was so confused.
I
was
already
so
knew it
lost.
wasn't Medusan because, like, first off, the entire time did not seem like Medusan at all. Like,
Yeah, so there was
the
a
character made
scene-
no sense. He never had any of the other, because in Medusan he picks like 3 advisors or 4
Yeah,
advisors,
like the
and they're
Morning
part of the
Wolf.
Shattered Legion.
Mhm.
None of those guys were there,
Mhm.
and he could magically see fucking invisible Raven Guard.
Yeah, so
Sure.
there's a scene where like Shuriken, when the Medusan first arrives, is super suspicious of Medusan, so he like sneaks onto the ship, and Shadrach sees him, even though we do find out in this novel that Shuriken is part of the disappearing people.
Shit, what were they called?
The
Shadow Masters or
Shadow
something?
Yeah.
Something
We
like that.
got introduced to them in Korax.
Yeah.
I guess he's part of them, but that's like a serious fucking thing. They're basically like psychers in a way.
Yeah.
So the fact that Shadrach could see that is pretty nuts. But we also like, it wasn't that crazy to me because Tarsa, the salamander, could also see him.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe we were
salamander.
assuming that salamanders can just see in the dark, and
Yeah,
no one else has ever mentioned that ever. I don't know,
Mhm.
but everything about him just seemed off to me.
This is
because
what
it
got
was not
me.
the same character.
The whole idea of like there being this like distrust is super strange to me, because even though the Iron Hands should be distrustful, once they find other Iron Hands, the likelihood that the Iron Hands are in cahoots with Horus is insanely low. Like I've never heard of an Iron Hand being like, "You killed Ferris? That's cool. Technically, by right of captain, you have decided to be the new leader." No one's done that. That's except for the zombie dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was the Raven Guard that was suspicious. So I mean,
Well, the problem I had was Shadrach came over and was telling
oh yeah,
Tyro.
he was like, "Yeah, I did the same thing."
Yeah, and that I thought that was super strange. I was like, there. I just feel like the whole Iron Hands
Iron Hands
distrusting
don't
each other.
think.
Yeah, they don't do that. That's not something they do. They're like, great, more people to shoot more bullets at the things that we're trying to fight.
How many body parts have you replaced? Are you really one of us?
Yeah. When they did the reveal, though, right? So they get to the planet where they're fighting, and they were like, oh my gosh, there was a mag tether to the ship. And I'm like, that means I'm so confused. Like, what does that even mean?
I don't know what that means.
So like it literally took like the dude taking off his helmet, Shadrach, and being like, I'm Alfarius, to be like, oh shit. Like, I guess that's what that means.
Yeah, well, you also have the during this, the salamander is doing an autopsy on one of the dead Alpha Legionnaires, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Huh, this dude ain't fucking Alpha Legion. This is an Iron Hand." I was like, "That's kind of cool."
Yeah,
But
but
also said there's
also
20 bodies, so there should have been like everyone there should have been an Alpha Legionnaire.
yeah, also super confusing to me. I still don't understand that. So they took like an Alpha Legionnaire from the ship, but it was actually an Iron Hand. But they find out that the Alpha Legion was there, like
What
as the
makes
Iron
even less
Hands.
sense is we all know how much the Iron Hand just like take off body part. The Alpha Legion doesn't do that. They just
Yeah,
put faces on. Like they don't do that weird shit.
yeah.
So like
It
the
was
first
a
autopsy, they should have been like, "Huh, this dude's an entire robot." That's suspicious.
yeah, very strange. Like I like the whole reveal of it. I was like, there's a lot of like very vague pieces being put together, and I still don't understand it all. I'm sure Trainwreck's gonna message us like, you fucking idiot.
No, he's probably like, "I can't believe you guys fucking read this book."
That's probably true. It's like I skip that shit every time. It
It's like,
was
I
rough.
don't skip anything, but Shattered Legion, that ship was gone.
Yeah, it was fucking garbage. So the other thing that's weird is Ulrich Brantham comes to life here. So the
What's
bird
even the fucking bird somehow opens his casket.
and he just
It's
starts
like tapping around on the
apart.
keyboard, and it's like
Carson comes in and is like, holy fuck. Oh my god.
it was the most ridiculous. And like I'm imagining like walking in, like the bird's like on the computer, like turns and stares at him like yeah, I
It's
don't
like
understand
it's almost
what's
like
happening.
your cat jumping on your keyboard and emailing your boss some profane shit. Like you
Yeah.
idiot, what are you doing?
How did this happen?
I swear to God, it was my cat. You'll never believe me. I can just
Man,
imagine them
he
all
is
getting
so
up there.
literate.
Why is Ulrich dead? So the bird.
Guys, that fucking bird, there's something crazy about that bitch.
So like eventually the funniest part about this is Tarsus like, okay, well, I guess I have to save this dude's life. It turns him into like a half dreadnought.
Well, I think the heart thing just kind of because it talked about like it was like going.
Morphed
I
onto
think it
him.
just like I think he just like heard he turned into a mighty morph and
I Googled him. I Googled him because I had no idea what this was supposed to be. He comes up. He's literally, I'm not even kidding. He's a fucking dreadnought with a head, like an actual head.
I wonder if there was a picture in the Kindle version and I just had to
Didn't
like
see
omit
it.
that from my memory.
It was
I was
so
like, what is
absurd.
happening right now?
What is this? But let's talk a little bit about Shuriken.
Uh,
So
no,
Shuriken beats the shit out of everyone in this book. Like
he's
they
a
are,
badass.
they're really hyping this fucker up. Like this dude is awesome. Like he beats like this Alpha Legion, like the dude, like the next dude in charge, like the best Alpha Legion fighter that they've made, except for Alfarius, who is also dead. So is this Alfarius? Who knows? I think so. I think it's before Praetorian Adorn.
Yeah,
That was one of the things that sucked about this book, is it was like, we're gonna go kill Alfarius. And I'm like, I already know how
you obviously
Alfarius
don't do that.
dies. So either you don't do it or it's not Alfarius. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Shuriken's a badass, but Alfarius is about to kill him, and Thematica, and all, like everyone almost dies. That's another frustrating part of this book. Every single person that's named like almost dies, but Alfarius is like, Magnus told me not to kill you. I'm like, fuck. Now I have to read about that.
I mean, maybe that comes up in Crimson King.
Maybe it does, but why? Like
Yeah.
now all of a sudden we're gonna have to go back to the Shattered Legions to figure out why Magnus doesn't want Shuriken dead.
This is me just randomly thinking. Remember when we had that short story of Lucius showing up and like trying to fight one of the Thousand Sons?
Yeah.
Maybe like he's keeping him. He wants him to survive to fight Shuriken again. and that's when he like unlocks his whole Lucius the Eternal thing.
Well, my thing is like Magnus is broken up. We know because of scars. He's broken up into these shards.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that Shuriken and the Shattered Legions have something to do with one of those.
Well, but maybe not because of fuck, what story was it when it was a betrayer when Magnus was just like chatting with everyone at the round table with like Horus, and then he like went and like chatted with Lorgar.
Yeah.
So maybe he's like not all in shards. Like I honestly
I think
don't know
he
what the
is.
fuck
I'm pretty sure
Magnus
he is. Like after scars, I'm pretty sure like we know like he's broken and stuff, like literally Lehman Russ. Like physically, mentally, metaphysically broke this man. So I don't know, maybe Shuriken, maybe it has something to do with Lucius. Like we have no idea why Lucius is still alive. It didn't make
That's
any
the only
sense to
thing I can
us.
think of with like that one short story, like ever
But why
coming back
leave
around.
Thematica? Why leave Tyro? Why leave like everyone else alive? You know, like Alfarius could have killed
Yeah.
Thematica. So it kind of makes me think that like Magnus told him not to kill like all of them. So I'm like, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know what the reasoning is and why like this group of now don't get me wrong, like this group of Shattered Legions is by far the coolest group. Like all the characters are interesting to me. Thematica is interesting to me. Shuriken's interesting to me. Waylon is interesting to me. Tarsa's interesting to me. Like they're all interesting characters.
You know what doesn't make sense to me though? Why? So we know that obviously they were all in his fan. We know for a fact that Ferrus Manus is dead.
Yeah.
But why not like go to like Nocturne or Deliverance and like see what's going on? Or I don't know, get more troops.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think like one thing I don't like about this book is it came very quickly after Korax. And my mind is like, why isn't everybody going to Korax? Like, fuck Shadrach Medusan. I'd rather follow Korax.
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't like, it seems like there's two like groups of people that have never even crossed paths. And it's Korax's entire army that he's assembled and Shadrach Medusan's entire army. And you would think that like at some point they'd be like, oh fuck, there's a Primarch.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's Graham's story. I enjoyed it. I think like it was good. Like I think like this is probably one of the better Graham short stories out there.
Yeah. I mean, I
think
don't know if we'll ever have anything that goes with Blast Church, but yeah, it was solid.
Oh yeah, that was phenomenal. Yeah. Then we move on to Hand Elect by Chris Wright. So this one was probably the most interesting one to me. Just I like what they did with the Mechanicum here.
Oh yeah, this is the one where Og gets his new body.
Og and his apothecary Gorgeson go to a forge world that is allied with the Imperium. And Og needs to basically use the Mechanicum to repair his body. And obviously the Iron Hands and the Mechanicum are very closely tied because they're the exact same fucking thing because they ran out of ideas.
Yeah, just ones are Astartes. And then so we have this whole thing of Og wanting to get his body fixed, and then there's another Iron Hand there that's like
Iron Father, yeah.
Yeah, he was like there's that, but there's the Iron Hand that came with Og. He was like gonna tour the facility.
That's the coolest part to me.
And
this was the coolest part of the story.
He's like walking around and like has his epiphany, like, holy shit, I don't know where the fuck Og is. These guys might be traitors. They might fuck him up. And he just like runs off.
What I like about this is like he's going through this forge world and he keeps seeing the lobotomization of people in the servitors.
Yeah.
And it's like scary as fuck. Like the way they described in the book, I was like, man, it kind of seems like he's walking through like hell, you know?
Yeah.
And at a point where he starts realizing that he's being led in different directions, he's like, holy fuck. The Mechanicum is evil. These people are fucked up. And what I love about this realization is the Mechanicum is loyal.
Yeah.
But he's like, these guys are fucked up. And that's true. Like regardless of the Mechanicum being loyal, they're fucked up. And like walking through one of their little places is like walking through hell. And having Gorgeson experience that, I think he got like paranoia. And I think that's what regular people would, they'd probably go into an extreme panic seeing what happens in a Mechanical Forge world. So kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, we're close to the end of time here though, but kind of another thing that happened is like there's an Iron Father there that talks to Og and he's like, look, like you're an actual Iron Father, not Medusan. He's just going to be using you as like a symbol, like you're not actually like his hand elect, yada yada yada. So after Og goes through this, he goes back to Medusa and he's like, I'm good now. And Medusan's like, well, I gotta talk to my council. And he's like, the fuck you mean your council? I am your hand elect. And he's like, well,
doesn't mean shit anymore.
Yeah.
So the Iron Father's like prediction is right. So I think that's kind of weird. So it kind of brings back up all the way back to the first story, this like power struggle that they're having within the Iron Hands after Ferrus Manus' death. So I think it's interesting.
Yep.
Moving to the last one, we got like 5 minutes left. I think we're probably okay, but the last one here, it was my least favorite.
Yeah, either. So this follows. So if you remember
Graham
way back in the beginning, there was
false
two characters
gods
called
Either and Or.
Yeah, Either and Or. And were they twins?
I think so.
Yeah, I think they were twins. And one of them died on Davin's moon.
Which I didn't know till like now.
I forgot completely.
I forgot too.
And
the dude's
the one
name
that
is
survived is Tiber Maul or Mar.
Tiber Maul, yeah. Mar. Tybolt Mar.
Yeah, Tybolt Mar. And he thinks in the story that he had killed Shadrach Medusan and he wants to get a audience with Horus. He ends up getting an audience with the Mournival and finds out a lieutenant of all people, which we knew from
Nocturna. No, that was Vengeful Spirit.
Vengeful Spirit, that
or one of the short stories. That prequel.
It might have been a short story, actually.
I think it was.
That a lieutenant had been made in the Mournival, and he was pretty upset about it. And he has this meeting with like Aximond afterwards, and Aximond's like, look, like I put your name out there, but just didn't work out.
Well, one of the things that's really important here is he basically said that Shadrach Medusan is dead. And the Mournival comes out and says, no, he's not. He attempted to assassinate Horus, which is in Vengeful Spirit. They're at
I didn't even remember.
Yeah.
Well, I remember the incident, but not that it was Shadrach Medusan.
Yeah, I think like now that I remember or I'm thinking about it, they did mention Shadrach's name in the beginning of Vengeful Spirit when they're is that Dwell? Is that the name of it? The planet? Yeah. So there's that whole scene where these two like planes basically go and take down the area, and Mortarion gets injured, and Fulcrum gets injured, and Horus
there's actually like a whole ass replay.
Yeah, they do the whole thing. Yeah.
And he's like, oh shit, that's so cool.
So for some reason, Tybolt Mar, his thing gets rejected because he's basically trying to tell the Mournival that Shadrach Medusan is an actual enemy. But the Mournival doesn't want to take that attention away from trying to siege Terra. So Mar goes and basically discovers an Iron Hand ship out in the like system of Dwell, brings the Iron Hands captain in, and is like, see, I told you they're watching us. And Horus is like, all right, I'm going to give you resources to go deal with them. That is the entire story. It's really annoying because Tybolt Mar at the end is like, now I'm going to kill Shadrach Medusan. And at the beginning of the book, Shadrach Medusan in the first story is like, I'm going to kill Tybolt Mar. And it's like, great, we didn't conclude anything.
Yeah.
Which is the problem I have with this book, which I stated in the beginning, is there's still so many open-ended questions. Why does Magnus want Sherikin alive or that group alive? Why is Tybolt Mar still fighting Shadrach Medusan? Why is Shadrach Medusan still alive? Why is there still a power struggle within the Iron Hands? We're on book 43. These questions need to have been closed a long time ago, guys. This is the problem.
Yeah, so I'll just say it's not personal enjoyment and importance to the heresy. Double ones.
Yeah, you can skip the shit out of this book, and it's one of the worst books I've read. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's it for us, guys. That is our review of Shattered Legions. Sorry it was such a slog, but man, the book was a fucking slog. What's our next book?
The
Wolfbane?
Crimson King.
Crimson King. So next week we'll be here to preview Crimson King.
It's a long one.
Fuck. So we'll do what we can. Anyway, as I said at the beginning of the show, we do want to do a Christmas giveaway. All you gotta do is get into our Discord. We'll give you till the day after Christmas to get in here, and then we'll hit
Do on
you
New
up.
Year's or something. Yeah.
Yep. So get on that. Find us on our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. We have the Discord link pinned to the top. You can go to our YouTube, ask there. I'll leave you a comment. You can email us at theheresiLodge@gmail.com. Also, we have merch. Check it out. We have pint glasses, sweatshirts, t-shirts. I do want to get hats made. I was trying to do
That'd be
them this
awesome.
weekend,
Love
but
it.
for whatever reason, the hats part just kept crashing. But
I'll
we're
buy
gonna have
one.
beanies and ball caps, so it'll be cool. As soon as I can get them made. That's it for us. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.